Morning all, how are we all doing? I haven't got the chat. Where's the chat gone? Hang on, sorry, one sec. I'm not organised today. Bear with me a minute. Let me get my chat sorted. There we go. So I have to move you lot over the top. Otherwise, I can't see you. How are you all doing? Right, Monday. Another week. What's the date? 23rd. So we've got another week and a bit this month. So it's obviously raining as usual in the UK. But yeah, it's obviously not end of quarter, month, etc. this week. So normal price action, news based. So we'll have a look at the news, usual stuff. Morning, Paul, Virginia, xrupduck.news. Good weekend. Yes, thanks very much. Didn't really do an awful lot this weekend. No, did very little this weekend, actually. Morning, ft.net. FTNet even. ft.net is because xrupdate.news, you see. Right, so basically today going to go through the news and everything. This week I am probably going to just do morning streams and keep them fairly short because I've got a lot of stuff I need to get done, basically. Morning, John. I'm completely changing the way that I do everything, and I need some time basically to get everything done. So it's come to my attention basically that a lot of the MQL5 marketplace has been hacked basically. So I seem to be doing an awful lot of support for people who have not paid for the indicators. So I've decided to restructure the way that I do absolutely everything, and everything is going to be done on a paid-only basis. So I just need to figure out how people are going to pay. So I need to take basically this week off to sort of reorganize myself. Somebody messaged me saying, you do know that every single one of your products is available for free. So I didn't, and now I do. So I'm going to have to stop everything because I'm not doing all this and spending hours supporting people when they're not even buying anything. So yeah, I've got to restructure everything basically, which is a pain in the ass, but it's, you know, happens, software and everything gets hacked. So yeah, so this week's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to restructure the way that I do the live rooms, and I just need to put in place some kind of delivery network for it. So and all the products as well I need to sort out. So it's going to be a busy week. Morning, Franco. Morning, John. I think I just said that. Evil, how are we doing? So we'll start with the news. This week is PMI week. So we've got a lot of stuff coming out today, obviously. 8:15 is PMIs for Euro. We have Germany at 8:30. So it's French and German. They make up the vast majority of the European PMI numbers. So this is why this one is orange, because by the time you've got those two, you kind of know what this is roughly going to be. We've got pound at 9:30, and then we've got US PMI at 2:45 this afternoon. So today's a busy day with PMI. Basically, there's an awful lot of potential movement off the back of it, but we're waiting to see what happens. Obviously, last week we had FOMC and an awful lot of talk out of Waller on Friday about potentially overshooting inflation. And obviously Lagarde as well coming out and saying about inflation. So inflation's getting down to where we want it to be basically now, which means that there is a danger in the US of them overshooting. And exactly what I said with the pound, basically, they've gone too late with the interest rate drops, meaning that that could get below, meaning that it really hurts and weakens the currency. So there's talk of them being much faster rate drops coming. And that's what basically was confirmed by Waller on Friday. So it could be that we get a very weak weak US dollar for the rest of this year, which means the stock markets should be going up quite quick. So we'll see what happens. But news today obviously is the PMIs. First one's coming out in just under 10 minutes. Let's just see what the markets have done this morning. So DAX and FTSE both clean break shorts. If these are in profit by the time the news comes out in 7 minutes. I will probably just break even these, because if we get a bad news event, this could obviously fly back in the opposite direction very, very quickly. So we've got a gap fill just in play at the moment on the DAX. Similar sort of FTSE move, but we've also got gap fill to the upside to be completed on the DAX from Friday. So at the moment, it looks like we're just coming down to sort out unfinished business here, and then we'll be heading back up to the top. So we'll see what happens with that. But break short, very clean, easy breaks today. The 5-minute ORB is also gone short. Your inside bar on the FTSE. So we've got the Aussie rate coming up, 4.35. No change on the Aussie forecast for Tuesday. That's pretty much it. Consumer confidence on Tuesday. CPI for the Australians on Wednesday morning. So that comes out 2:30 in the morning. So obviously you won't be awake for that one, but be aware of that. That's forecast to come down very, very hard. So the rates are changing, or rather not changing, on Tuesday. Then we get the CPI number coming through on the Wednesday. If that is a 0.7 drop year on year or lower, that will encourage them to drop rates. They haven't gone as high as everybody else, though. So I suspect it won't be long before we get that Aussie moving down. They're the last ones. They're the only country at the moment that hasn't dropped rates. So we're waiting for the Aussies to follow suit. So that's coming out on Wednesday. Thursday, we've got the Swiss rates. They're dropping again. Press conference will be interesting on that one, because obviously we're getting very low on those interest rates. Inflation is incredibly low for Swiss. Always is, but no unemployment. GDP's going up. I mean, the Swiss just don't get it wrong, basically. So with them, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so basically, I'm not quite sure what the market reaction will be to that, because the Swiss is being manipulated a lot anyway, and kind of not really following suit with what they're doing with interest rates. So we've had a really strong Swiss, even though they've been reducing interest rates because of what's happened with the yen. So not quite sure what reaction we're going to get to that. Be interested to see. I haven't got any Swiss exposure on. Did I take some Swiss exposure? No. So I've got no Swiss exposure on at the moment. Anyway, which is fine. I don't plan to take any this week before that. GDP for the US on Thursday, and Powell speaking on Thursday afternoon. And then finally, we got the GDP for the CAD on Friday, as well as PCE. So PCE, again, another big mover potentially on Friday afternoon. So that's your news week ahead. It's all very heavily weighted towards front end of this week. PMIs, Aussie rate, and Aussie CPI. And then we got the Swiss rate, but I mean, that one's kind of a who knows type thing. So morning, Danny. So yeah, over weekend news, not a lot. Obviously, stuff is still bubbling away in the Middle East. It's very difficult to tell what's going to happen with that. If you are trading the Swiss franc or the yen, make sure it's down. Yeah, so do not try and long anything against the yen or anything against the Swiss. If that does kick off in the Middle East and it erupts, there's going to be safe haven runs going on everywhere, and the yen will power up, the Swiss will power up. So if you're going to take any trades on yen and Swiss pairs, just make sure it's obviously usually it's the cross on the right-hand side. So like Aussie dollar yen, you want to short it, because if the yen powers up, everything's coming down against the yen. Same with the Swiss. So just be careful with those. There's no more escalation over the weekend. Obviously, we've now got attacks going in and out of both of those countries, but it's really going to flare up if, for any reason, NATO have to get involved, US, or if we get dragged into it in the West in any way, shape, or form, which being allied with Israel kind of is a given, isn't it? It's going to escalate, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But always a dodgy time. Stock markets tend to come down very quick. 2 hour on the DAX. Clean break 2 hour. News is out in 3 minutes. We've got 2 minutes. Just going to watch this. We'll have a look at the FX in a minute, but just want to watch this while that news is coming out. So first news, 2 minutes to the French PMIs. If they're bullish, we should see a drop in the indices. Bearish, obviously, the other way. Gap fill's done. So there's your gap play complete. Yesterday's low is there. So yesterday's low target, not far away from it. So there's no way I'm leaving that on. Just hoping the news pops it down to target, taking it off. So before that news comes out. I'm just going to do it now, just in case spread widens. So first trade, nice easy profit. And obviously we'll see where the news takes this. Is either going to get the second half out of break even or it's going to rally it. So 180 banked. FTSE not really doing anything at the moment, is it? So we'll see where that goes. 1 minute. Morning, Tom, JC. What happened to Swiss yen? What will happen to Swiss yen? Volatility. It depends. You know, with safe haven runs, it doesn't guarantee. You know, if there's a safe haven run, it doesn't guarantee the money's going to come into the Swiss and the yen and gold, which is typically where it goes at the same time in the same volume. Yeah. So what you're looking at with the Swiss yen is the differential bullish and bearish. Yeah. So if there is more money pulled out of the US dollar and put into the Swiss franc than there is put into the yen, the Swiss franc yen will go up. If they pull more money out of the US dollar to put it into the yen than they do in the Swiss yen will go down. If they pull all the money out of the US dollar and the pound and everywhere and they equally put it into the Swiss yen, it'll do that. Yeah. So you can't tell what will happen to Swiss yen because there's no way of predicting what they will move to and in what quantity. The first time we've had news just come out. So there's a quick tick down there, gap down. Gap down FTSE 2. So that's bullish euro news. When you're ready. It's not pending, is it? We're just in the price action move. Delay. 44 on a forecast of 44.2. Oh, right. So it's pretty much as forecast. 48.3 on a 53 for the services. That's down. That's interesting. Normally you would... Oh. Something went wrong with Forex Factory. Forex Factory's gone kaput. There we go. 48.3, so it's negative. That's interesting. So we moved down there on the negative news. Let's quickly see what happened to the euro. Yeah, big move down on the euro. Typically you get the inverse on the indices, but that's not the case here. So we have just taken yesterday's low out on the DAX. So we're likely to find, that's yesterday's low, that orange line there. So we're likely to find buyers at yesterday's low. So I've got 1.5 hour locked in, guaranteed on the second position. So we'll see if they rally that back up again. But yeah, so the Swiss with safe haven moves basically. It varies what will happen. It doesn't have to go into these currencies either, you know. So these are the typical safe haven currencies purely because of low interest rates. Yeah, so they are normally stable and normally have low interest rates. So if you've got huge amounts of money in a currency and they change the interest rate by 0.25%, it actually makes a huge amount of change to the difference in your investment or your holdings, basically. So things like the yen, where it was just negative interest rates and flat, meant that you are very unlikely, if you put $1 million in there, to get much different to $1 million out. So it's basically, think of it like a savings account. Yeah. So I've got a load of money here. I can spend it because I want to go shopping and all that sort of stuff. If I don't want to spend it, I can stick it in a savings account and my card can't access it. That's basically what safe haven runs are. They put it somewhere safe until they know what the likely movements are in all the different markets it's been pulled out of. So it could get pulled out of bonds, it gets pulled out of other currencies, it gets pulled out of the stock market. So this is where you typically see safe haven runs happening. When you see a safe haven run, you see a stock market collapse. Yeah. So they're pulling money out of the stock market because it's risky, because you don't know what impact whatever's happened is going to have on those businesses. And you put it into an FX currency, which is stable, Swiss franc and the yen. Wow. At the moment, you see, we don't know what, this is the difference now. Since that intervention on the yen, which is obviously the biggest we've ever seen, we don't know whether or not the market wants to or will use that as a safe haven. Could be that it doesn't do anything next time we have a run, but the only time you're going to find that out is when there is a run. So yeah, impossible to predict, but if in doubt, stay out, don't get involved, and then you can't get hurt. Okay, so yesterday's low is holding up on the DAX at the minute, so just a bit of a gappy move there, but nothing particularly exciting. European stocks see muted open. There we go. Nothing else exciting. Okay, so that's that basically covered. That's news for the week. Nice easy profit on the DAX this morning so far. See if that continues to the downside. Right, so FX wise, ADRs, I've got some Swiss franc exposure. Aussie dollar Swiss. That's my short. Second entry taken on that one this morning. So that's back in break even. So I'm just going to adjust my targets on that. Down to there. So that's my exit. So basically back to the original entry. So that's what I've got on exposure-wise at the moment. ADRs today, Aussie, New Zealand is the only thing that's hit. But whenever you get a hit on a Monday on the Aussie, New Zealand, it's 99% of the time because of a gap. As you can see, we had a gap this morning. So the spread gap this morning was 23, which is half an ADR. So although this is reading we've hit ADR, it's because half of that was spread. We open and then we've just basically come up to double top on the weekly basically. So it's not an ADR hit. Although if you'd have taken it and the EA had taken it for you, obviously it's in profit. But yeah, Aussie and New Zealand, especially on Mondays, you do tend to get these huge broker candle gaps in place across all brokers really. It happens all the time on this pair. So it's one of the ones, and this is partly why in the position trader EA I have that filter for time. That's the reason I put that in there, was because I do not want any trading activity between 2300 and 1 a.m. because you just get the whacking great overnight spreads, swap spreads in there. So so there's no ADRs to look at. Obviously weeklies, it's Monday morning, so we wouldn't expect to see any. Very rare. We have had one instance where we saw 300 ADR by 9 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? But that was a very weird day. But yeah, so nothing on the weeklies, obviously. Monthlies, we've got all the yen pairs hit. So you've got your Aussie yen on the monthly, CAD yen, Swiss yen, Euro yen, Pound yen, New Zealand yen, and US yen. We know we've had a strong yen move this month. And Aussie dollar CAD is the only other monthly. So looking at those, obviously Aussie dollar CAD as a monthly opportunity. That's happening right now. Yeah, so there is the beginning of the month. Where are we? Somewhere there. Yeah, so we've had that push down. We've pushed up. That is the average monthly range. We've had a reverse alert kicked in on Thursday last week, and the retest, and we've just double topped this morning. So there is your M pattern, clear as day. If the monthly is going to hold and we're going to reverse 50% retracement, target to the downside. So that looks like a good little short. This is the trade I was going on about last week. I mentioned it on Thursday, I mentioned it on Friday, and I mentioned it on Wednesday as well as a watch out for the bounce on this one. I couldn't take it because I was short Euro CAD and Pound CAD, and I still am short Euro Pound and Pound CAD. So I couldn't take any more CAD exposure on, but good looking opportunity for a mean reversion on that one. So there's your 50% retracement. There's your propulsion gap break of the high. You've got a couple of areas to watch out for on the way down in case it does a flag break, but that's good. So that's all you've got monthly wise to look at, apart from all the yen pairs, and obviously all the yen pairs have started to mean reversion. So they've all played out. So I got into the Aussie yen. Couldn't remember which one I took. So I got into the Aussie yen when it hit the monthly. Lovely W pattern reversal. So any of those that you took this month all played out beautifully. So all good. ADRs today. Oh, sorry, RSIs today. That's holding that low on the DAX. Yesterday's low. So when we get this gap filled, we'll see if that is going to be the lower day today. FTSE's struggling as well. Might still push down. I'm just playing with the idea of closing the FTSE and just holding that DAX. Uh, 82.33. Ah. Yeah. So I'm just going to stop out. Yeah. So break even on the FTSE. Because if that is going to bounce there, we've got PMIs coming up today as well on the FTSE. So obviously the next round of PMIs is coming out in 5 minutes, and then we've got in half an hour, in an hour, the pound as well. So I get the feeling we might just sit around, and I don't want to just get hedged on that. That's clear profit this morning, easy trade. So there's no point in getting into a situation where I've got to manage that all day. I'll just take that one and be done with it. So yeah, ADR RSIs today. The 4-hour RSIs, you've got a couple of extensions there, but just about the only two worth looking at really are the pound Swiss, which is played out already. So you would have needed to be in that this morning. Your reverse alert's already gone in and retested. So that was a nice extension. We looked at this one on Friday for shorts, and this is the reason I got into the Aussie Swiss on Friday. Was again same reason. We had the 4-hour RSI extension, first entry, second entry this morning. That's going back down into profit now. So pound Swiss is your 4-hour today, but you've missed it. So you could go for a retest on it if it retests. So you're going to need it to come back up into that propulsion really to short it from there. You could short it on any pullback really and assume it's going to continue, but bear in mind in an hour's time you've got the PMIs coming out for the pound, which could also send it flying back the other way. And you've got the pound yen, which we've already covered because that was an extension from last week. That's your weekly. There's last week. So we had the monthly extension here. So that was the monthly range, and it's virtually undone the entire monthly range. So we're looking at a V-shaped recovery on this one. But if we're going to put in a lower high and put market structure south in, i.e. continued strength on the yen, this is a good short. So only just 80.69. It literally just got extended, but it's a signal. But I'm not taking any yens at the minute. Still too scared. I will take some, but they've got to be like real good. I want divergence. I want RSI extension. I want it to hit ADR. I want it to hit its weekly range or its monthly range. I want to see 2 loads of resistance at the highs, and I want to see a nice big propulsion gap it's testing, and I want to see a massive bear candle. I'll hit the button. Other than that, I'm not interested in the yen unless it's a really, really good setup. And even then, it's a 50-50 shot. Anyway, morning Champagne, morning Franco. Franco, you've got to stop retracting your messages. I'm always interested in what you're going to say. How are you, by the way? How is your heart? Morning Themba. Just joined to smash the like button, Mumo. Well done. Catch up with the stream later. Cool. Paul, with the hack, does it make sense to let people confirm that they paid for it to access certain things? Yeah, that's partly what I'm going to be doing. I've informed MQL5 Marketplace, basically. It's, you know, what can you do? But I don't mind. I'm not that bothered. I don't make my money from selling indicators and EAs. Yeah, I do it because I want to support it. Yeah. So it's not my main revenue stream, obviously. If it was, then I'd be having a much bigger problem about this. But there's no way I'm sitting. I have basically, when I come off the stream, less so on Discord, but in Telegram, I have loads of messages to respond to with people asking lots of questions, asking for support with all the products. Yeah. I have no idea if they bought them because on MQL5 Marketplace, you don't see anything. All I see is a sale. I don't know which country it is. I don't know what time it happened. I don't know who it is. I know nothing. They don't give any information. They give you, you've sold something. That's it. That's all you get. Knowing what I know now, 5,000 people in there, 200 of them could have bought the product and the rest of them haven't. I'm not helping these people. Yeah. I'm not giving up my time for free. So I'm going to change basically what I do. And if you want access to me, you pay for it. If you don't want access to me, off you go. Simple as that. That way I know. So I'm not going to be selling on the marketplace anymore. I'm removing all my products from the marketplace. I'll be selling them all direct. I'm building a license. So the reason I'm taking this week off is, well, I don't know, I might still stream every morning, but just do an hour. But the reason I'm doing it is so that I'm going to license, I'm building myself a licensing system. I'm going to license them myself. I'm going to know exactly who's bought it, when they bought it, where they bought it from, etc., etc. If you contact me in Telegram, you ain't got a license, you're not getting a response, basically. So I'm going to help people that want to be helped. I'd much rather have a live stream with 15, 20 people in it that really want to learn how to do this and support them than have 200 views a day on a stream. And not, I mean, you see the people that come in here sometimes, like the scammers, the spammers and the idiots. Not interested. Yeah, I'm 50 years old. I've been trading for over 15 years. I want to help you. If you don't want help and you can't be asked, piss off. Seriously, not interested. There's so many people out there that want to find the holy grail. What do you mean you haven't got a set file that makes money? Not interested in talking to you. Yeah, I'm interested in talking to people that understand you need to be invested in this to actually make money out of it. Otherwise, you know, it's just not worth it. Euro, US dollar, ADR. Euro's coming down on that news. So there's your ADR hit today on that one. So you can watch that for a 5-minute reversal. It's coming down pretty hard at the moment. So I would, that's your second PMI just hit on the German. Again, negative. So another big negative on the German PMIs. Reaction in the opposite direction on the DAX this time. So I just need to delete my pending longs on the FTSE because I did that manually. They won't get removed. So there's the little gap fill done on that second PMI. Out break even on the second half. So 350 banked. So yeah, watch this today. Just give it time. It might just pop back from there, but might not. We'll see. Would it be possible for you to do a scalp session once a week? You've read my mind, Themba. Yes, exactly what I'm going to do. My plan is basically so I'm going to run one session a day. Yeah, it's going to be in the morning, and it's going to be today's news. So what we got coming up today. I've written it all down somewhere. I can't remember where it is. But going to look at today's news. We're going to look at yesterday's trades, yesterday's opened trades and closed trades, look at the trades, why they were taken, go through them, confirm this was taken because of this is what happened, just confirming the strategies over and over again, which is how you learn. And looking for setups today, and that's it. Yeah, and then it's into education, basically. And what we will be doing is what I'll be doing every day of the week is something different. So Mondays, for example, will be swing. So we're going to look at H4, daily RSI opportunities, long-term strategies, basically, that are going to be like, H1, M5, mean reversion, swing, trend trading, whatever you want to do. We're going to have then a day of scalping, price action. We're going to look at price action candlesticks. We're just going to learn how to read price action, and we're going to trade price action on stuff. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll pick a couple of instruments because you can trade anything. Doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. So you just open up a chart, you look at it and go, right, let's look at the 15-minute price action. Not on that because it's got news. Pound New Zealand. Okay, so look at the price action on this. And you had, I don't know, a big bearish engulfing there. So what's the sort of strategy you could play on that? What does that mean? What's that bearish engulfing mean? Why is that happening? Because it's a lower high. What does it mean? What should be a good entry? What's going to confirm this as a short, breaking those lows? And that's now confirmed as a short. So how do you get into that? Wait for it to pull up into the rectangle or a propulsion gap and then short it? Where should your stop be? Should you use a stop, or should you place a second order there and average into it? All that sort of stuff. I'm just going to go through all that. I'm going to have a day as well of strategy development. So I'm going to show how I test strategies, robustness testing, theory, all the why you should do testing in the way you should do it, why do it, how to do it, learning basically so that you can go off and do it. And more importantly, I want everybody to come to me with their strategies. So I want to build strategies. I want to build EAs for people. So I want to have people come to me and go, like, it's December, isn't it? You trade gold, don't you? Yeah. Come to me with your gold strategy. Let's build an EA that gets your strategy. I'm going to build an EA for you. Yeah. And if it works, everyone can have it. Yeah. But you can only have it if you're a member of the group. If you're not a member of the group, you don't get it. Yeah. So you're paying for access to development and trader development more than anything else. Yeah. If you're here, you're learning and you're doing, you're making money. That's it. You need an EA, we'll build you an EA. Yeah, we'll put it all together and we'll test the strategy. So like Themba comes to me with a strategy and says, I got this gold strategy on M5. This is how I do it. I'll build an EA. We will go through the entire back testing processes. What we need to do with this to make sure that it's robust is we need to test it on gold. We need to test it over these different time periods to make sure that this works. And then we need to test different entry and exit criteria. So the way that you're doing it is good, but what if we tried this? Let's test a timed exit. Let's test an end of day exit. Let's test a 3-position entry on it rather than a single. Let's do this. Let's develop it. Come up with a good strategy. We'll all trade it. Create a sort of community sort of thing like that. But that's a lot of time. And I would love to be able to trade gold. I just haven't found can't find a strategy that works. So I don't do it. But if someone's got one, and that's the kind of what I do. So each day of the week will be something new. And then we'll have a day of the week, which is like the bootcamp day. So on Thursdays, what we do is we do the usual stuff, look at what we got into yesterday, look at here's the results of that strategy testing we were doing yesterday. That didn't work. So what we'll do is tomorrow we'll have a look at developing that further. But today we're going to learn about how the market moves. Do that. Yeah. But spend an hour on it. And then we'll have a little community of people I know that are paying some money to do something. And all the EAs, you can have access to the lot. How's that? Yeah. Every single product, every single EA I build, you can have it with a license. And if you leave the group, you don't get it because I'm not helping if you're not in the group. But if you've learned how to trade you can go and get your own one built. But if you want to use mine and have my help and support with the stuff that I do, that's fine. But because a lot of people don't want to do it the way that I want to do it, which is fine, then don't come. Simple, isn't it? But, this is the problem with software. People pirate it. When people pirate it, there's no point in me doing it, is there? Because I'm just giving up my time for free. I'm just not interested. I'd love to make a nice little second income out of doing it, but I don't want to do the selling the courses thing. It's just not me. I'd rather find 10 people and go, let's make you profitable. No, you don't want to do it my way? No problem. How do you want to do it? How many hours a day have you got to trade? What time frames do you want to trade? Do you want to do this as a full-time, or do you want to make a part-time income out of it? Yeah. Do you want to pay for holidays? Is that why you're trading? Yeah. No problem. Let's develop a strategy to do that. You're going to need higher time frames because you don't need to be making lots of little money all day long. You can just make money over a longer period because you only need 10 grand a year for your holidays. Yeah. You're going to need a different strategy and a different way to trading to someone that wants to do 5-minute scalping every day to make $300. Totally different mindset, totally different person, totally different EA. Yeah. So that's what I'd like to do. And I've got very lost in this whole thing, and it's kind of come to light over the weekend. It's like, now that I'm figuring out I'm actually helping a load of people that aren't even buying anything, it's like, well, bothered. Or as someone just said, piss off. Yeah, so scalp session, definitely. To have a session a day, we do scalping. I'm doing well, getting stronger, good, winning on the 4-hour geriatric charts. Good. There you go. Franco's a perfect example. Franco's trading 4-hour charts. Themba's trading 5-minute charts. Nothing wrong with it. Everybody can trade differently. Most of those hack TAs don't work. Serious users will always buy. Yeah. However, I have downloaded all of my products for free. There you go. So they do work. Mine do anyway. But I've alerted MQL5 basically because MQL5 are obviously going to take a massive legal case on this. Every product on MQL5 is available. I've searched lots of products, well-known products, EAs, indicators. They're all out there if you know where to look. And I've alerted MQL5 to the fact that their entire business model, selling products in a marketplace, isn't there anymore. So I don't know if they've seen their sales drop or not, but if they have, I've just told them why. But whether they do anything about it, it's not. I don't know. So, piracy, Google, you can get Google to take websites down and stuff, can't you? But Callum, afternoon, morning even. Should I buy the POS trader now? Yeah, buy it. Yeah, no, buy it. Definitely. If you want to. Long time no speak. Outro, welcome back. Been working over the summer. Good man. Danny, thank you for the $2 Very much appreciated. See, that's the thing. Danny's paying for me. It's good. I like it. Thank you, Danny. Very much appreciated. That goes into my tip pot. I was looking at that this morning. So I was looking at where people come from this morning, and the vast majority is UK rather than US, which is a shock to me because I thought it'd be much bigger US, which is why I do the morning session and the afternoon session. But now I've seen that 65% of my live room viewers are from the UK, whether that be watching live or watching on replay. It makes sense just to bother with the morning session rather than doing an afternoon session as well, because I'm just making it more complicated and wasting time doing an afternoon session when the vast majority of people are in the mornings. So there you go. Champagne, I tested the MRA on gold at the weekend with better entries. Good. Send me your set file. Tell the truth. That's the wife's idea. No, it's not the wife's idea. My idea. Morning, Church. Alana. Can I buy directly on the MQL5 marketplace? Can I buy directly? MQL5 marketplace won't let me buy anything. You will be able to. Yeah. I don't know why the MQL5 marketplace won't let you buy anything. And again, that's a problem. People say this to me. I can't buy on the marketplace. I don't know why. I can't contact them about it. Because I don't see anything. So Euro Swiss ADR. So I've just been putting off this whole licensing thing myself because it's a massive ball ache. I've got to build, PHP validation scripts on the site. I've got to build into all the products some kind of validation system. There's going to be a lookup. It's just a pain in the backside basically to do it. But now I know what I know about the MQL5 marketplace, and I just want control of what I see as well. I want to know who is buying stuff and who is invested in it, because you only buy a product if you're invested in the strategy. That's the whole point of me putting the strategies out there for free and showing people how to do the trading element of it. You can then try it, and if you like it, you can automate it. But a lot of my time is sucked into helping people with the automation side. I've got no way of knowing whether you've bought anything or not. So I'm helping a load of people that I have no idea if they've ever bought the stuff. They don't ever show me charts or anything either. So I just don't know. I need control of this. So I don't want to spend my time with just spending my time. I need to have some kind of reward for it, whether it be financial or whether it be, helping people. That's why I got helped by people for free. This is how I learned most of the stuff that I do. But they didn't give me any priority. It was a case of if I asked a question, I got an answer 2 days later. That was annoying. I know that's annoying because I've been through that process. I'd much rather have a small community where when they ask me a question like on Telegram, I respond immediately. But I want to spend time with those people. That's kind of it. I send the new set file on Discord in the MREA section. Cool. I will test it. I am from the US, but I love the EU sessions. That's good, Vitaly. But why are you up? This is the weird thing. When I looked at the statistics, because most people in the US should be asleep now. It's 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning or something. But you're looking to do scalping on futures? No, all CFD. And again, I don't want to confuse it with futures or anything. It's CFDs. That's it. CFDs or spread betting. There's no need to trade futures. Futures is more restrictive, and it's just not what I do. You go and look at a futures chart now for the DAX. It's the same as this. Yeah, the price action you will see in the futures market right now is the same as that. Same with these indices, in the afternoons. Yeah, it's the same price action on your futures chart as you're seeing now on this CFD. CFDs are very accessible to everyone on the planet. Futures are a lot more complicated and they cost you a lot more money to trade. So, well, it depends on how you do it, obviously. But so yeah, there's no point. Anything I teach on CFDs, you can do on the futures market if you want to. It's just a chart. At the end of the day, this is a chart. If I hide this, yeah, and I say, let's trade this, it doesn't matter whether this is a CFD. It doesn't matter whether it's crypto. It doesn't matter whether it's options, futures, or what it is. It's a chart. It's price action painted on a chart, telling us a story about what the banks and institutions are currently doing and possibly planning to do. It doesn't matter what it is, does it? All that matters is you can trade it. So yeah, I'm not going to bother with futures anymore. As I say, I've traded it, but it doesn't make any sense to do it to me. They block me on purpose. They don't want me to succeed. What's that from purchasing? Danny, thank you for the another two Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Morning session is good, 5 p.m. my time. Yeah. And that's the other thing. I looked at my sales statistics on the MQL5 marketplace. The vast majority of my sales, weirdly, Alana will know this. No, not Alana, Danny, come from Australia, the UK, and the US. Yeah. Very little other. So Australia is quite a big market, obviously, for trading, it seems. And the US, obviously, we know is big. But the one thing that worries me about doing a morning stream is all the US people would have to only watch a replay. But if I'm just doing a general stream and it's not time sensitive, because we're looking at possible setups today and yesterday's setups and explaining why those trades were taken yesterday, you wait for the setups yourself. So it doesn't really matter what time I stream, does it? Because if you're using EAs to automate strategies, you don't need to be here with me doing it. Like the stock index hedge. I wasn't on at 8 o'clock this morning. The DAX took the trade. Yeah. So if you are trading this morning with this EA, you're in and you're done. Well done. You didn't need me here. I could have come on and said, the DAX was a lovely trade this morning, wasn't it? And post a picture of it. As long as you understand why the trade happened and why the profit was made, that's all you need to do, isn't it? Replicate. Monkey see, monkey do type thing. That's all we got to do, isn't it? Thank you very much for that extra $2, Danny. And Franco, another 2. Thank you very much. I owe you so much more. That's fine then. We'll donate more. I'm joking. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And it means you won't have to do this as well if you were to pay for membership to something. But anyway, thank you, Franco and Danny. Very much appreciated. So you're starting your own distribution. Very gangster. Yeah. It's not so much that. I do not want to have to license my own products because it's complicated to do. And when you push out updates, there's all sorts of stuff you want to do. I've got to set up verification servers for licensing and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. However, I do also want information about who I'm selling products to. I don't know anybody that's bought my products unless they tell me they've bought them. Because on the marketplace, as I say, all you get literally is a line that says this date, doesn't even tell you the time. It says on this date, there was a product sale for this product. And this is what you get paid. And I don't get paid all of it. They take a big cut. Yeah. So that's it. I don't know where you are, who you are, how experienced you are. I know nothing about you. Why are you buying it? Are you buying it because you're looking for the Holy Grail? Or are you looking for something to pay the mortgage? Or you're looking for something to buy a new car for your kid in 3 years' time? This is all very important information because I can then say, right, you don't want to be doing this. You want to be doing that. You need to come to the streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays because you're going to get the most out of those. The other days, they're really scalping. That's not you. And I can put more time into the people that want that on Thursdays and Tuesdays, and the people that are scalping probably won't show up. It just makes more sense, doesn't it, to do it that way, I think. I don't know. I could try it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I can always go back to every day. Do the same old thing over and over again, which seems to have been working fine for a lot of people because there's a load of you in here that have been here for many months and some years. So if you rebuild it, would it be making sense to move community forum? No. Well, Discord, yeah. So I set up a members only Discord. Euro's really moving. So we just had the final news come through on the Euro. Oh no, it's 9 o'clock. 10 minutes, we've got that. So Euro's moving nicely today. Big moves down on the Euro across the board. So Euro CAD is back into profit. Be careful trying to mean revert this today. They obviously do not like this Euro news today. It's all negative. It's quite badly negative as well, I have to say. The PMIs are down a lot. So yeah, all Euros. There is mean reversion opportunities on all of these, obviously. My long on the Euro pound isn't being helped, but I'll be taking another on that one if we get down to ADR today. That'll be 4 on that. Stuck again. I'm really falling out of love with the Euro pound. Remember, I was in this stuck for 2 weeks, well, nearly 3 weeks. I'm fast becoming, can't be bothered with the Euro pound anymore. It seems it's almost every trade is just getting stuck, isn't it? It's horrible. A minute. My whole trading today is based off your YouTube videos with ORB. Yeah. Paying member of the EA you made. I know, this is true. Outro, I don't disagree. However, I can't know. This is the problem. I don't know whether you've bought anything. And I've no way of, and people can't prove it to me either because you don't get anything. You get a receipt saying a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of your receipt. You can post that onto Telegram and then 100 other people can send me the same screenshot and tell me they bought it. I have no idea. Unless I can verify it. Do you see where my problem is? I'm sitting here helping people with stuff they say they've done. I'm not just saying you haven't. I'm just saying I have no idea. I need to verify information. Otherwise, I'm wafting around in the YouTube universe, knowing, just doing stuff for nothing. I am an owl. I'm in Arizona, so it's 12 a.m. for me. Blimey. It's late. Up because I'm on? Oh, XR, that's nice, XR. You get up because I'm on. That's very nice. Australian, good. Abdi, morning. Aussie here as well, Bill. Living in Vietnam? Wow, that's a move. Morning session is 2 p.m. Yeah. US session is 9 p.m. Yeah, this is the thing. I can't help everybody everywhere, so I've got to pick one. And 8 a.m. seems a logical time because it's setting up for the entire day's worth of news. And then the people in the US can just watch the replay, can't they, when they get up? Just know I bought 2 of your indicators. Just need to get 1 more to complement strategy. Good. Got most of my strategy from your teachings. That 15-minute candlestick I use is for session breakout. Cool. It's good. But this is the thing. Themba can come to me and say, this is how I use your product. I don't know how anybody uses anything either. No one tells me anything. I only come in here and I do what I do. I would like you to tell me what you do with my products or other products that you have or other strategies you have that I may be able to turn into EAs to help you automate those strategies and make a few bob on the side and maybe give you a commission. Yeah, that's the other thing I thought of as well. If I get 20% of any sales I make at the moment on the marketplace taken away from me by them because they provide all the encryption system, the delivery, product delivery system, the payment gateway, all that sort of stuff. So they take 20%. It's quite a lot. So if you came to me with a strategy and said, I've got this wicked strategy, let's have a look at it, backtest it. If it is profitable and looks good, we'll build an EA. Any sales from that EA, I'll give you 20%. You've got to do nothing but come to me with a strategy. I do all the hard work. I build the product. I do all the testing. I support, develop it, work with it, deliver it, encrypt it, do everything. Yeah. And I'll pay you 20%. So all you've got to do is go, I've got this strategy. It's really good. And I go, yeah, you're right. It is. Here you go. Here's a load of money. Wouldn't that be a lovely thing? If I could do that for people as well. So you can earn a second income out of not only trading your strategy, but helping others to trade your strategy via automation. That's what it's all about, automation, isn't it? This means I can sit here and have my trades automatically taken for me while I'm waffling to you and not have to worry about it. It's great. Everybody needs to be doing it. Irritation for me before I found you is I bought a number of products for a system called SMTE and VPower. Not heard of those. Had some success. Then the owner died and the product stopped working. Again, bring those to me, Wayne. Explain how they work, what they did. As long as you can explain to me this condition needs to be met for an entry. This is the exact exit criteria, whether it be a stop, a timed exit, closes at the end of the day, a movement, whatever. This is the targeting system. It uses a trailing stop. It doesn't use a trailing stop. It closes half of it here and then moves to break it. As long as you can explain a strategy in full and its exact mechanical rules, I can backtest anything. And if you can backtest something that works, and this is what I spend my entire life doing, is backtesting EAs. I have. There's not many in here at all. You can't see them flicking past. But I have developed hundreds, thousands of EAs that I've tested over my lifetime. Very few of them work. But the ones that do are robust and they keep going. That's why I use them. But I haven't got enough hours in the day to find new strategies. And I'm sure there's hundreds of people making money out there in lots of different ways. But, we can work together to do it, basically. And it's about developing people as a trader. If Wayne's got a strategy that he used to love to trade, I'll help you trade it. But I've got to build something to help and look at expanding on it as well. So I've got a new version of I'm not doing any analysis this morning, I'm waffling, but I've got a new version of the Position Trader EA here, which is version 1.6. Don't know what it is. 1.63. And I'll show you the backtest. Yeah. And it's basically based on something I've been working on with my friend that does the RSI2 strategy. And he basically uses a different type of exit strategy that I've never really looked at all. And I've just incorporated that into the ADR reversal strategy, this new variation of exits. And this is the result. This is a 4-year test on pound US dollar. I've done nothing. I've changed nothing. It's the same old strategy I've been teaching for 6 years. But what it does is it limits the drawdown and limits the damage done with ADR for position trading by taking a set number of trades and exiting after 24 hours. So we go, this is an ADR reversal. It's an intraday scalp strategy. 24 hours later, has it worked? No, shut it. That's it. That's the only change. So I've had to incorporate that into the EA. Look at the difference in the profit curve. I'll show you the same test in a minute with that part of the strategy removed. And this is what strategy development is all about. It's not about making something amazing that makes you $1 billion. It's about removing the loss from the risk to make you profit. And I was drummed into me many years ago. Do not try and make your strategies better. Remove the loss from your strategies. That automatically makes them better. Yeah. So look at a strategy and apply a filter to it that says this doesn't work most of the time if these conditions are met. Well, let's put a filter in so when those conditions are met, we don't do that. All of a sudden, you become more profitable. You're not curve fitting. You're not hunting the holy grail. You're just improving something that is already working. So the first step of robustness testing is get a strategy, put it in a strategy tester, and give it a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Has it got higher than a 50% strike rate? Yes, we're onto something. How can we improve that and remove some of the losers? That's how you do strategy development. There's loads of stuff out there that works. There's a million ways to get into the market, but it's applying a risk strategy to that entry mechanism and an exit strategy to the entry mechanism that makes the money, not the entry mechanism itself. As I said, it doesn't matter why you press the button. Your odds are 50-50. It's going up or it's going down. Those are the only two things it's going to do. Yeah. But if it goes sideways for 24 hours and hasn't done anything, don't hope. Get out. That's what this does. So that applies that filter. Lovely little profit curve there. Look. If I remove those filters, and rerun it, so that made 40k with 9 grand drawdown. Yeah. I'll rerun it. Euro yen has also hit ADR. You'll see the difference in the profit curve here. Oh, DAX flying. New high of the day on the DAX. There you go. So that was a good exit today on the FTSE. Glad I got out there. And perfect exit on the DAX as well. See how this is struggling? Because it's being hit all the time by big squeezes. Yeah. So think about what happens with the ADR reversal strategy. Like today, we've got a load of ADR hits just happened today. Why have those ADR hits happened? Yeah. So that's what the euro looks like right now. Why? We've had 2 news events with 4 news items in it. 3 of the 4 are negative. That's gone down. So let's try and mean revert it. Yeah. If the market hasn't pushed any further down by the end of 24 hours, or it hasn't worked, remove that trade from your portfolio. If it has pushed down, we can try and get out. But if after 24 hours, it hasn't pushed back up again, they're selling on the news. Get out. Yeah, it's applying a filter to say, is it a news event or is it just price action? Yeah, that 24-hour filter applies, applies a filter to the trade, and it doesn't matter. The EA doesn't need to know if it's news or not. Yeah. It just needs to know whether the trade is working or not. And if after 24 hours it's sold and it's sold and it's sold and it's not coming back again, you don't want to be in it, because it's a scalp strategy. H1M5 mean reversion using RSI or some other condition indicator, absolutely fine. So there you go. There's the P&L on the same strategy without those filters in it. Drawdown 15k, profit 46. So we made an extra 6k, but we've made 50% more drawdown because we just went, get out of those, they're not working. 50% less drawdown. That's what I'm interested in, getting out of stuff that's in drawdown. And the equity curve on that, when it's working, yeah, but look at the equity curve on the other one. Yeah, do you remember how it was, there's a couple of dips in it, but it was very much like that. This one sat like that for about 2 years, not making money, because it had to recover the massive losses taken by not closing these trades out on a Friday or closing out within 24 hours, because they're scalps. Don't hold them long term. Yeah, so it's all this sort of stuff that we can do together to find out, it's about development, isn't it? And that's partly what's come from dealing with this guy that I deal with, Dave, who's just so one track mind focused. Who's like, nope, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. He knows it doesn't work because he's worked in a bank. He knows why it won't work. It won't work because the banks are not going to work in that way. Therefore, if you try and work in that way, you're just fighting the bank. Yeah. If the bank's moved it and it's moved it again, yeah, you're trying to do that after it's moved it like that. I can tell you for sure it's not going to go back up again. So what do you want to do? Shut it. Okay. Amazing difference to drawdown. Euro odd 125. So that will be coming out as a new release. 125. Prime example of what I'm talking about now, isn't it? You're my early warning FX security debriefing. Yes, I work for the Forex security services. You can see it in your profile under bought products or not. Yeah, you can, yes. So that would be a way of proving it. But I don't know. You see, this is the thing. EuroCAD 125, I should imagine the combined is coming out as negative, which you would expect it to, because it's not rocket science, is it? That is a combination of that plus that. I wouldn't expect it to be positive. So it's just confirmation, obviously, that the PMI numbers are negative. Oh, they're in all sorts of trouble today, aren't they, at Forex Factory? Here you go, some more negative. Yeah, so people can see in their purchased products. So you could take a screenshot of your purchased products, but unless your username in Telegram and your username on YouTube matches your username that you show me a screenshot of, I can't confirm it's you. So if your username here is Paul, your username in Telegram is Paul, and your username on the MQL5 marketplace is Pappy24, making it all up because we've got a champagne Pappy in here, which is spelled differently. Yeah, you can send me that screenshot as much as you like. Prove it's you. You can't, because I can't prove who you are anywhere. But if you buy a license from me, I've got your email address, I've got your name, I've got your address where you live, you've paid by a credit card which matches your address. Yeah, everything's verified and I know who I'm dealing with, and therefore I'm happy to help. Been a bit of a light bulb moment this weekend, dealing, it becomes obvious some of the idiots you talk to. Yeah, they haven't watched the bootcamp. They've never been to a live stream. They've literally bought or got an indicator from somewhere and gone, why isn't this making me money? And I spend an hour dealing with them. Just don't want to do that. I need control. I need control of everything. I've had a success with the ORB and tried to switch to the SIH and just couldn't get on with it. Yeah, so just use the ORB. This is all, and again, I have all these variations of products, and I want to also be able to give free trials. This is the other thing, yeah, that really constricts me on the marketplace. I can't do anything for you. Someone says, I really like the look of this. I love the way that you teach the strategy. I just want to try it for a couple of weeks. Sorry, you can't. Go and buy it. But I want to try it before I buy it. I can't help you. Sorry. They don't do demo downloads, which are time limited. You either download for the strategy tester and backtest it. Well, I don't want to do the backtest. I want to backtest it. It looks great. That's why I want to get it from you. Yeah, I can do that. I can just say, yeah, here you go. Here's a time limited version of the EA. It expires in 2 weeks. When it's expired, if you like it and you got on with it, buy it. If not, don't. I can do all of that. It's great. It's going to be great. I have a lot of ideas for strategies. There you go. So Champagne Pappy can become our resident strategy supplier. Yes, I have tried the London Daybreak strategy. I've backtested it. I've built an EA for it. It doesn't work. As much as people say it and sell it on YouTube, and you know, I couldn't get it to work. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. I couldn't get it to work in the way that they teach it. Now, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. If Alana, if you're sitting there going, London Daybreak strategy, what do you mean it doesn't work? I've been trading it for 2 years and I'm making around about 3 to 5% a month from it. Tell me exactly what you're doing with it. We will build an EA, we will model it, robustness test it, and if you've got the version of the Daybreak strategy that works, let's pump an EA out on it. Do it. Let's make some money out of it. In the fact that selling, you can sell the strategy, and obviously you can trade the strategy, more importantly. Much better relying on your own income from trading than you are from selling something. I've taken your position trading theories and adapted to my style of trading. Exactly. And that's why this button is here in the Position Trader EA. This is the whole reason I launched this EA, was so that people can take control of any strategy and turn it into a strategy that works with position trading. I've got somebody that's got, again, I don't know if they've even bought the Position Trader EA, but they are using the Position Trader EA and they are limiting it to taking 3 trades, was it? 2 trades or 3 trades only per position. So the way that they're doing it is, and again, that was risking, that test I just showed you was just using a set risk. Obviously, we can double that drawdown and double that return as well by adjusting risk. But oh, that wasn't even the strategy. Oh no, that's my strategy. That's why. That's right. This isn't a strategy tester. I'm going mad this morning. So yeah, there's somebody that's using it, and they're basically using the drawdown control settings. So they set their drawdown control at 2 times their risk. So they're using 1% risk, and they have drawdown control set at 2% risk with 100%. Yeah. So that what happens is when they get into a trade, they take a trade. If it pushes against them 2R, doesn't matter. It's 1%, so it pushes against them 2%, it automatically closes that trade out, but it keeps position trading. So what it's doing is it's scaling in and then waiting for the move. So it's a combination of a stop loss strategy and a position trading strategy, but they've only been able to implement it because of those buttons, because they haven't got the entry criteria that they want to use built into this EA, but they can just do that themselves. Yeah. So they've got a dashboard they use, which pings up alerts at them. So every time they get an alert, they go over to the pair and they just hit the button. Let the Position Trader EA make the money for them. It's great. It's a good strategy. But again, if it's a really good strategy, I can build it into the EA and have it as a drop down at the top, like the others, and say, right, ADR reversal strategy, false. RSI mean reversion, false. Joe Bloggs' strategy, true. Yeah, and it will automatically execute Joe Bloggs' strategy. Or build another EA called Joe Bloggs' strategy, pump that out there. You know, there's all sorts of things we can do. But, you know, working with people that actually want to do something serious. Morning, Neo. So this new version of the Position Trader EA, would you say it's also a lot more hands-off? Yeah, that's it's not a new version of Position Trader. It's just got 2 new rules in it. That's all. It's got time. It's all it's got in it is Timed exits, that's it. This is only for scalping strategies, yeah? So with a scalping strategy, you are looking to be in and out the market quickly within a time period. So you're looking for something to happen quickly. Yeah. If it doesn't happen quickly, that trade hasn't played out. So use the RSI as an example. Yeah? If you're doing an RSI mean reversion trade, right, and you get in on an RSI mean reversion, let's say that that move there didn't happen. Let's say that what actually happened was that. Yeah. So that's the price action. You got into a mean reversion strategy trade there, right? This reset RSI within 24 hours. Is that trade still valid? Is that condition still met? No. Should you still be in that trade because it hasn't hit target? No. Shut it. Very simple, isn't it? It's a very simple filter. The reason I came up with that filter for the ADR strategy was because I ran the ADR strategy in Quant Analyzer. This is going to test me. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was 4. So I ran the strategy in Quant Analyzer and I looked at the trade analysis. No, it wasn't this one. It was another one. It was another set file. But basically, this area here, this trade by duration, P&L, is the important part. Yeah. What this tells you is if you hold your trade for longer than X, this is what happens. So in this particular strategy's case, this isn't the one that triggered the light bulb with it. But holding for over 12 hours doesn't make money. So get out before 12 hours. What do? Eliminate that loss. What happens? P&L goes up. But all of this is the stuff I want to do in the live room. It's like, not, this is a new setting for the EA. This is why this setting is in the EA. Go off and see if you can improve your strategy by doing this, using this setting. That sort of thing, yeah? It makes so much more impact to people if they understood the process that I go through to develop what I do. I think. I don't know, but I think. Euro Swiss 125, Euro US 125. So lots of ADR hits today. Obviously Euros coming down hard. If I buy a new laptop PC, will I have access to what I've bought for MT4, MT5? Yep. The way that licensing works for most is on account number. So if I build my own licensing system, I would be asking you when you make a purchase or whatever you do, however you access, whatever you access, you give us your account number, yeah, and it can only be used on that account number. So if you change accounts to a different broker, you need to deactivate that license for the old broker and reactivate one for the new one. This is basically the same way as the MQL5 marketplace works. It works not on account number though, it works on your MQL5 ID and your PC ID. Yeah. So I'm basically just going to use account number. So if your account number is 123456789, you give us that. If you put the EA on that account, it'll work. If you put it on 123456786, it'll go, sorry, you ain't got a license for this. Simple as that. And then when you go, I don't want it anymore, I go, no problem. And I take your license out of the system. You can't use the product anymore. It's just easier, isn't it? Then I know who I'm dealing with, don't I? If you're using the product, you're licensed. MT4 5 keeps all client info, bad business model. Yeah. It's the same as Amazon, isn't it? If you sell a product on Amazon, you don't see who your customer is. Yeah. You can't, you get the delivery address. That's it. And if you use Fulfilled by Amazon, obviously they do all that bit. But you don't see the customer's email address. So you can't market to the customer. That's where the edge in Amazon's business model is. You place an order on Amazon, the person that delivers a product to you doesn't see your email address. They can't market to you, but Amazon can. And they take a cut of every sale. It's the same business model as MQL5 have got, basically. However, it seems that they've had a leak. And I'm not sure that's going to be around much longer. But anyway, sure you get a license for 5 downloads on 5 devices or terminals. Yeah. Perfect. A perfect EA was the MRA EA in the position trader EA. Don't understand. What I meant, outro, is with the products in the marketplace remain because I have no intention. I'm not going to remove anything from the marketplace. Marketplace is staying. All the products are staying up there. I'm just changing the way that I do things moving forward. Closing a stillboard trade, yeah. Good filter idea. It's not a new idea. It's just and this is the thing. Again, you've got a million ways to change a strategy. And every time you make a change to a strategy, it makes a change to the performance of the strategy. But you can only see what's happening in the past, obviously. Well, I'll be joining right off to go paint. All good fun. Have fun. Anyway, I'll do some analysis. I'll shut up now. What about permanent licenses? You pay once and the product is yours. Yeah. Could do that. There's all sorts of ways of doing it. I need to have a think about it, basically, about how I do it. That's all. I need to think what is the best way for me to do what I do and maintain what I do. This is the thing. It's about, for me, it's about doing the trading bit. The products are a nice little side income, but it's not something that takes up 2 minutes of my time. So let's say, for an example, there's my income. That amount is from trading. That amount at the top is from selling products. My day is that big. That amount of my day is taken up looking after people, supporting the products. That amount of my day is taken up training people how to trade. There's a massive disconnect in my time that I spend with people and how I get paid. And it doesn't make sense. It's, like the Telegram group has got 4,854 members in it. We've got one person posting in there at the moment. Who are the other 4,853 people in that Telegram group? I have no idea. I don't know if any of them have bought anything. They could all be bots. But I waste so much time on that. I don't know why. Anyway, US 30. Well, I can look at US 30. It's not moving at the moment because it's the Globex session. There it is. It's moving on the DAX move, I guess. The US indices this morning. I mean, the US indices tend to mimic what the same as the the DAX mimics what the US indices do in the afternoon, and the US indices tend to mimic what the DAX and the FTSE do in the morning, but to varying degrees. So this move here, I suspect, is off the back of the DAX, because obviously it's sector selling and sector purchasing, isn't it? So if you're selling a sector of stocks in Europe, you will sell that sector, and that sector will have stocks in the US indices as well. So this is why, you can look at these as much as you like, but they're going to move very much with the UK indices. But the volume and the volatility enters at 2:30. That's when you want to make money out of them, when they're moving, properly moving. These moves you can't predict. The move at 2:30, is coming, don't you? The discounts I ran a while ago, do you determine that or MQL5 decides? I do. And again, MQL5 again has no discounting structure or system. To set a sale up on MQL5 takes me over an hour. I have to go into every product. I have to copy and paste in HTML code a snippet of code. Can't type it in. Can't copy and paste it normally. You have to copy the code over to the description, save the description, move over to the pricing tab, change the price, click OK, and it comes up with a pop-up saying, are you sure? Because we're not going to let you change the price for another 24 hours. If you get this wrong, you're screwed. And you go, yep, I'm sure. For every product, I have to do that. It takes forever. If I sold my own products on WooCommerce or some e-commerce platform, I could just basically go, let's do a sale, 20% off, press the button, bang, the whole website does it. It's just labor intensive. Everything you do through MQL5 has just seemed to be labor intensive. But yeah, they don't offer any discounting. And like I said, I'd love people to be able to try something for 2 weeks, but you can't because they don't offer that. I'd love to be able to say, you know, buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one half price. I can't because they don't let you do it. There's no mechanism on MQL5 for anything but the way that they want to do it. They do not want to take crypto. They do not want to trade, deal with anybody in South Africa that doesn't have this card and all this stuff. It's just so restrictive, and it's becoming an absolute ball ache to do it. So, you know, like I said, much better having fewer people and spending more time with those people than spending all my time with people I've no idea if they've even, you know, people contact me in Telegram and go, I've got this idea for a strategy. I watched one of your live streams last week, and I'll sit there and I'll have a chat with them about strategy and talk about it, and get to the end of the conversation and go, that was 45 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back, and they've only attended one live stream, never bought a product, and probably won't ever see them again. What a waste of my time. I just, you know, it's just thinking, it's not until something happens you think, what have I been doing for the last 4 years of my life? Coming on here, which I love doing, but trying to support stuff that is just too difficult. So anyway, I will announce what I'm going to do when I know. I need to spend the week planning it, basically. I've got to build a licensing system, which is going to take me days anyway. In fact, it probably won't take me days. I know how to do it. I just haven't been bothered because I can't be asked, because I've got too much time in Telegram and Discord. Anyway, let's do some analysis because I haven't done that yet today. And it's 9:30. I've been on for an hour and a half and we haven't even looked at a chart. We just made some money on the DAX, which is lovely. Nice, clean, easy trade there today. Anyway, so going to whisk through all the FX pairs. Obviously, news-wise this week, got to be very careful with the interest rates. They may send currencies off spiraling. So the CPI and the interest rate for the Aussie and the Swiss. Apart from that, there's no interest rate or CPI numbers coming out this week that will really affect anything else. So US, pound, euro we've had today. Obviously, every currency today is affected by the PMIs, which is just about to come out for the pound. So for the rest of this week, really, it's just going to be normal price action, business as usual. So with all the yen pairs, I'm still really unsure with the yen as to whether or not we are continuing bull. So that is probably the way I think this is going. However, with all the yen pairs, I just seriously don't know. So again, beautiful to trade intraday with either a stop loss or a timed exit type strategy, but for long-term hold, very, very unpredictable. You want to be doing that because it's a carry trade. But if you get stuck the wrong side of a carry trade for 2 weeks, as you would have there, it's fine. You're still going to make positive swaps on it, but it's obviously not the fastest moving thing on the planet at the moment, the yen. So with all of these, basically, you're better off doing this because of the potential safe haven runs coming from the Middle East conflict. But from a setup perspective, you can almost press the short button at any time because it looks like market structure is short on these and it's going to continue its downward movement. When we get down to the lows on these yens and test them, that will give us some indication really as to what is really going on with them. But at the moment, I'm just trying to steer clear of them at the present. So with the Aussie this week, we've looked at the Aussie CAD, obviously, for 3 days last week for entries. And it's playing out very nicely this morning. So there is your double top. So that is, it's not really an ADR hit because it's gapped down, but it's monthly high, last week's high, which is where we got the reversal and retest last week. We've retested again. So this is putting in our favorite pattern, Batman. So we got half a Batman. So lovely short, really simple stop above the high type strategy. And mean reversion on that leg. So we're looking for a push back down into these propulsion gaps this week. I can't take that one personally because of my exposure. Oh, I just banked. What have I banked? US dollar yen, I'm out. No, that's time. I was going to say US dollar yen. I'm out of. I got out of the US dollar yen on Friday. So I was like looking at that, thinking, huh? I got out of that on Friday. Look, that was the short on Friday. There. So I don't know. So I'm out of Euro CAD. So I can take on Aussie CAD short now, actually. So Euro CAD out at target. So 0.5% banked in the accumulation, which was where I set my target. And it's 125 ADR. So possible mean reversion pullback opportunity there. So that Aussie dollar CAD, that does actually open up my exposure on the Canadian dollar. And I have already got an Aussie short. So I am actually already short Aussie CAD. In the fact that I've got the Aussie Swiss on short and the pound CAD long short as well. Sorry. So I'm not really going to take that one because I'm in the trade by proxy anyway. So that looks really good for shorts. Aussie dollar Swiss already in, second entry on that one. So this is the H1 from last week, and it's also an H4, which is why I got into it for the H4 mean reversion from last week. So I'm looking for a pullback into that propulsion really on the 4 hour, which is kind of here. That's the 4 hour propulsion gap, and a retest of that high. So that would be your ultimate target to the downside. However, you can see from the price action, we're sort of pushing and ranging. So I'm being a little bit more cautious and just going for an ADR hit to the downside, somewhere in Friday's low, basically, to get out of that one. So we'll see how that one goes, but short on that one. Aussie dollar yen, already covered. Aussie New Zealand, sitting around sideways doing nothing at the moment. Really hard to trade this at the minute. Stuck. So it's an ADR hit today, but it's not because it's a gap down. So hard to really look at this one with any bias at the moment. Obviously, Aussie news this week, CPI and interest rates. This could take off in any direction. Somebody posted in Telegram, Powell, on yesterday, over the weekend, actually, about a test he'd done on he or she. And again, I don't even know what sex people are. Need to get control of this, don't I? So he tested the ADR strategy on the Aussie New Zealand. Very bad results. Because the Aussie New Zealand, as we know, goes into parabolic trends. Yeah, you're not going to get a good result trying to mean reversion a scalping strategy when something goes parabolic for 2 months. Yeah, stuff like this. Backtesting tells you Aussie New Zealand is not good for ADR reversals. Don't trade it. Simple as that. Or try and apply a filter to make it profitable. If you can't, forget it. So this one at the moment, obviously, as you can see here, we're really stuck at the moment, and market structure is bearish. However, that is the current bias long, because the Aussies are not dropping interest rates. The New Zealanders are, and they did it ahead of schedule. However, the Aussies' interest rates are lower at the moment. So the advantage we've got, obviously, is that they're down at 4.35, which is pretty much 1% ahead of where New Zealand dollar is, and inflation is similar. So I think this is why this isn't really moving as you would expect from a fundamental perspective at the moment. So bias on it, really, I don't have one. However, when the Aussie, being the bigger, stronger economy, does start interest rate drops, there's a chance that this will go into a big, strong move. So for me at the minute, again, I've got the EA running, but I'm waiting for a perfect setup on it. I want a really big RSI extension on the 4 or the hourly. And as you can see, it's just not happening. Yeah, we haven't had anything above the 80, below the 20. We had a little one there. Can't see it. It's behind my head. You had a little one there. Yeah, which was this entry here. So if you didn't get out on the first spike, you had a second entry exit. Yeah, so that was the trade. Other than that, you had that short there, which was lovely. But there's really not been any setups recently on it, and it's just kind of accumulating. So not really worried either direction on it at the moment, but I want to see what the Aussies do with the interest rates this week. there's a good chance we might start a decrease in the Aussies. But the trouble with it this week is we get the interest rate first, which they're not going to change, and then we get the CPI, and the CPI is what's going to make them change their mind. So they've kind of done this the wrong way around. What they should do is do the rates after the CPI so they can see what the CPI number is, which will help them make the rate change. Why they don't do it, I don't know. But anyway, so we might have to wait another month for a movement on the Aussie interest rates. So you've got plenty of time in this. Beautiful resistance on Aussie US. So we've rallied up into that on Powell. Away, pushed it, tested again this morning, struggling to get through the monthly high. So we know there's an iceberg order, limit order sitting there, holding this in place at the moment. US dollar, however, likely to be more weak moving forward. So if that US dollar continues to weaken, we will see that probably break out. But as you can see, I had an entry there, which took, well, 3 entries to get out of. But again, 2 weeks. So, you know, these sort of longer term swings using RSI at the moment are taking a lot longer because markets are sitting around waiting for interest rate and CPI numbers before they do anything. So we're getting that push, stop type price action, which is just nasty. But so at the moment, looks good for shorts. But we need to really see what the impact of FOMC last week is. So obviously that's FOMC last week. Market really didn't know what to do with it, did it? You dropped more than you said you were going to. So we'll weaken the US, but do we really want to weaken the US? So we got no clues on Friday, did we? So far today, it doesn't look like we've got any clues either. So it's a difficult one with all the US pairs at the moment to know what the long-term sort of bias is. So at present, that looks like a lovely M pattern short. And coming back down to retest propulsion. So if we are short US dollar and obviously long on this, that sort of movement. So it looks good, but you would have needed to have got into that this morning. And the reversal up there. You haven't had a signal though on H4, or actually, no, you did have a signal last week, but that was on FOMC. This is the thing. If you were using the EA got you in there, so you're probably in 2 positions, so pretty much break even, aren't you? So, but yeah, like look at that one as a short at the moment. I don't have any of your EAs. I find your website more than enough to learn and digest. Yeah. Still a Flintstone trader. There's nothing wrong with being a Flintstone trader. That's like I say in the bootcamp. You can do the bootcamp. You can learn everything in the bootcamp. You can trade everything from the bootcamp without buying anything. Don't need indicators and EAs necessarily. You do need something to put a strategy together, and obviously indicators are useful for that, but you don't need to use automation if you've got time to spend. Swiss in straight this week, yep. So CAD Swiss, as you can see, not a lot of movement at the moment. So the CAD Swiss is very much like the US yen or the CAD yen in the fact that we've had that big strong move on the Swiss franc. Continuation short makes sense. Would like to be short on it because obviously Swiss franc safe haven run potential, but again, not quite extended enough. It's not a bad extension where we are. It's above the 70 level, or was on Friday, but it's still putting in bearish market structure, although we did double bottom. So you got high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, double bottom. So that could potentially be the start of a reversal back up. So if it is going to be a lower high though, that's where you want to short from. So perfect short. You've had the 15-minute oh no, you haven't. It's because it gapped down. Although that is the last batch of sellers before the high, so that is actually a valid reversal. So yeah, that would be potentially a good short today. 5-minute, you've had one already, but that was on Friday. We're back up in this area where the reversal happened. So this whole price action today is kind of the retest to see if we're going to hold that level. So it looks good. I'd look at that for shorts as well. CAD yen, Swiss yen kind of covered. Euros, obviously, today it's pulled down day for the euro. We just had negative news on the pound as well. Right, so euro pound, I'm just getting ready to take next entry. So that will probably hit ADR today. So we've had double negative news on the euro, and now we've had negative news on the pound. And obviously our bias is long on the pound on this. So this is obviously coming down. So going to take fourth entry on that one today. It's just getting stuck in this euro pound for weeks, aren't we? Horrible. Euro odd, so beautiful. Obviously short opportunity, long opportunity on the euro odd at the moment. Anything you get into this week with the Australian dollar obviously is going to be thrown into chaos when we get the interest rate decision. So lovely double bottom right now off the weekly lows from 3 weeks ago. You've got your monthly low coming up at 175 ADR. So lovely big push down. You're extending on the 15 as well there, and the hourly you've just got extended on that one as well. So good potential bounce point here. 5-minute reversal alert is miles away. So if you're using the position trader EA, that would have got you in on MA cross right now. I mean, I've kind of got this trade on already as well. I'm long euro, I'm short odd, which is kind of the equivalent of taking that trade anyway. So wait and see, but good mean reversion potential on that one. Euro CAD, that's a really good level actually, that euro odd. I kind of already got the exposure on the pair. So there's previous resistance, which has been rebought. So if it's going to stay range bound, come up and retest that. If market structure is going to hold bearish, we're going to break that level, and then we're going to come back up to put in a lower high. So it looks good to start a long position from here, definitely. Euro CAD. So I've just got out of the shorts on that. Obviously, this could come down. It depends how much the euro weakens on the PMIs, but yeah, like it. Potential quick scalp mean reversion, but at the moment, I just don't really want to get in because I've got out. But 4 hour, if it does continue to push down, we'll probably get a signal to go long at some point out of this propulsion area. So no bias on it, as you can see. Yeah, and there shouldn't really be moving forward either. So both the euro and the CAD have done very good rate drops very quickly. And they are both now at the point where they're pausing interest rates and dropping interest rates. So there's no real advantage from a fundamental perspective, long or short on this pair. It could go either way. So yeah, take any RSI extensions, any ADR reversals really, and you should be okay. Today though, that's a lot of bad news. So you have to kind of look at today and go, do I really want to long the entire bad news day, or shall we wait for them to drop it for a couple more days and then get in which case you're going to have a 4 hour extension and those weekly and monthly levels to support you down here. Don't know, but tricky one, but you can get into it, just manage it if you do. Euro Swiss, so again the Swiss franc pairs all very much like the yens. Franco, our man needs a tall beer, fish and chips break. Fish and chips break. Let's all chip in a buck. Thank you very much, Franco. Much appreciated. For the $5, I like it. A tall beer. I could do with a tall beer, to be honest. Actually, not this time in the morning. It is only 9:30 in the morning. So thank you very much, Franco. Much appreciated. I like that. Tall beer and fish and chip break. It's Fish and Chip Friday. So Fridays in the UK is traditionally Fish and Chip Day. So Fridays, that is. I shall save it for Friday. God, carbohydrate overload. Fish and chips. I don't know why in the UK, but when you go to a fish and chip shop in the UK and they say, do you want small or large chips? If you say small, it comes like that. if you say large, you can feed a family of 4, especially our chip shop. So we always get like whatever we're having, fish, sausage, whatever it is from the fish and chip shop. And we just get 2 small portions of chips. That's way more than we need. Unbelievable. Potatoes obviously are not in short supply in the UK. Anyway, thank you very much, Franco. That will actually buy a fish and chips as well. Like it. ADR reversion opportunity on Euro Swiss. However, with what's going on in the Middle East, just be cautious with the Swiss franc. Yeah. If Israel shoots something or someone shoots at Israel, misses and hits someone else, just going to get potentially a Swiss franc safe haven run. Safe haven runs can be whatever they want to be. Depends how scared the market gets. So just be cautious trying to long against the Swissy. We don't know. The trouble with safe haven currencies is you just don't know when things are going to happen. And if you caught the wrong side of them, from a position trading perspective, they're dangerous. From a stop loss based strategy perspective, they're the same risk as everything else. In fact, they're good because obviously their moves are very quick, so you can make a lot of money very short space of time. But right now we're sitting in propulsion, which we bought last time. So this high here, we broke with that candle. We came back, we retested it, we rebought, we came back, we retested, we rebought, we've come back, we're now testing. If there's buyers here, we will buy it again. So potentially you've got a backup down there. So again, from the ADR reversal strategy, if you get in with an ADR mean reversion entry when you get the reversal alert, or if you're using position trader EA when you get the MA cross. So if you get in here and that trade doesn't work out, your backup is here, which is going to be roughly half an ADR away. So take a second half an ADR away. You're now at 175 ADR. Odds of it going further is 6%. High probability trade. So good looking opportunity to get in now. Or if it gets further, obviously wait and take the break here. Euro pound. So yeah, next entry going in on that. Just need to check my VPS a sec. I just wanted to check what MA I'm using. I can't remember what. 5 EMA on 15. Yeah, that's a 9, isn't it? Sorry, I just want to see if that's going to take another trade, because I might take a manual on it if it's not going to get in for me. Because that has opened below the level, but it's got spread. What I don't want this to do is, this is the trouble, not quite get me in and not take an entry. I'd rather press the button now and get in right now than miss an entry down here, because at the moment my average is 125, just over 125 ADR away. It's got quite a big spread on it as well. Look at the size of the spread on this thing today. 10 pips. Was 1 pip spread, but 10 points. I'll come back to that. I'm just going to leave my VPS home. I'm just going to come back to that in a minute because it will remind me to come back to it. So yeah, good opportunity for a long, obviously, on the euro pound. We are, again, getting extended back down on the hourly. So it's the first time we've been extended for a while on that. On the hourly, as you can see, we've been sitting around in this 12-day nightmare that we got stuck in. So 4-hour RSI is back down again. So potentially another good looking entry there. There's no confluence down here though. So you've got to go back out to the daily charts to find the next support level. So next support really is going to be here, which is 125 ADR today. So good looking opportunity for an entry today. And then, yeah, move up. How did I see the spread? Just measured it. So the spread is that red line and that grey line. So I just literally just measured it by using the crosshair, measuring how big it is. Old-fashioned way. You can have an indicator which shows you all of this information, but I really don't need to know about the spread. Spread is not something I have control over. You don't have that on your chart. If you don't have that, go to properties, and you will got an ask line. Yeah. So the ask line is the orange-red one. If I change that to black, look, that line changes black. So it's your ask line. Doesn't matter what color it is. But if it's set to none or white, maybe, you won't see it. But around news, obviously, spread widens. So, but you don't really have any control over it. So it's not something I really worry about. If I want to take a trade here, I want to take a trade here. If you're going to give me bad trading conditions, I still want to take a trade here. So it's not like I'm going to turn around and go, right, fine, I won't take the trade then. I won't get myself out of this position. I'll just sit here and then, Mr. Broker, you've got to take the trade. So, you know, people ask me all the time, again, about spread filters. Can you put a spread filter in there so you don't want to get out the trade? You know, if you're in a position, yeah, and you need to add another one, and the spread is too wide for you by 0.1 pip more than you want it to be in your settings, you just not want it to bother and sit there for another 2 weeks while it accumulates, or do you want to take the trade and get out? Spread, irrelevant. Commission, irrelevant. Trading costs, irrelevant. You can't do anything about them. They're a cost of doing business. Accept them, use them, just get on. So you get out based on your P&L. So if you have in here a load of costs to do with spread, a load of costs to do with commission, a load of costs to do with overnight swaps, yeah, you can't not have them. You just have to use the account balance to get out. So this one here, I've got long on the Aussie dollar Swiss. I'm 142 in drawdown on it. I don't know how much is commission, spread, or swap of that 162. I don't care. I can't control it and go, I don't want it. I'm in it. Just deal with it. Yeah. So yes, you want the lowest, tightest spreads you can get. Yes, you want the smallest commissions and swaps you can get. At the end of the day, your broker does what it wants to do when you press that button. And how long you hold a trade for has got nothing to do with your broker. You'll hold a trade as long as the market is going against you. That's it. You don't have a choice. So again, stuff I don't build into my EAs, spread filters. No point. What are you going to do? Just not trade because there's a bigger spread? Yeah, if it's a good setup, it's a good setup. If your spread is 0.05 more than the setting in the EA, you're going to kick yourself if that's a beautiful trade. So, you know, spreads aren't that bad. I mean, if you've got a broker which gives you a spread like that, yeah, change broker. If you regularly see a whacking great spread, you need to change broker or stop trading that instrument. Pound New Zealand is a great example. I'm on Euro Pound, remind me, while I'm off on a tangent. Pound New Zealand. That's typical. Today it's not actually that bad, but it's 44. Yes, 4.5 pips spread on the Pound New Zealand. You look at something like the Euro US dollar. The spread is 1. Yeah, so the spread is 4 times more on the Pound New Zealand. If you're scalping, the Pound New Zealand is not your friend. You don't scalp it. This is why everyone scalps cable and Euro Pound, because it's got really tight spreads. So when you're scalping, that makes a big difference. 4 pips as opposed to 1 pip means you've got to go another 4 pips to make money. So you just don't do it. But when you're position trading, entering using hourly and 4 hourly with 5-minute entries, I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 pips. It's irrelevant. I need to be back in the market to average into my move. So you take it. Spreads at market changeover can be large. Exactly. And that is why I have a time filter. Yeah. So the time filter is here. Oops. Yeah. To filter that out. So I do not want to trade after 11 and I do not want to trade before 1 a.m. because the spreads are ridiculous. So if you are down here and the market spreads, look at the New Zealand dollar today. It's an absolute spot on example today, isn't it? Look. Yeah. That's the spread. Yeah. People call it a gap. It's not. It's a spread. If you watch that chart this morning or any other day, go back to a day that is not a weekend. Yeah, look at that. Right? Can you see any gaps there? No. So why is there a gap there? Because your broker gapped it. It spread. It increased the spread exponentially. I've seen half an ADR spread on New Zealand dollar pairs overnight. I've shown examples in the live room of being stopped out on trades, yeah, which price didn't get anywhere near. It was half an ADR away. My stop loss is up there floating in the middle of nowhere because they spread the market half an ADR. So if you set up a filter in your EA like I have, 11 o'clock is there, 1 o'clock is there, wherever it is, yeah, nothing happens here. It will take profit. If it spreads in my favor, I'll take it, Mr. Broker. But if it spreads in my detriment, I'm ignoring you. Other than that, there's very little you can do about it, is there? So euro pound, I'm just so I should get into that now. I think now we're pushing down. Basically, price has got to open below that line and close above the moving average to get me in. So I'm just going to leave that there. So yeah, long on that one. Euro New Zealand, again pushing down 125 ADR today. So big strong drop on the euro continuing. You've got monthly support coming here, which is about 250 ADR away at the moment. RSI is not extended on the hourly or the 4 hourly. So there's no real entry signals at the moment apart from ADR. And ADR, obviously, if you get in, you can get in and try and take an intraday on it. Again, a little bit late today because of the speed of that movement. So the reversal alert would get you in there. The position trader EA would get you in down here somewhere. So if you get in here and it works, excellent. If you get in here and it doesn't work, you've got in way before the market reversal alerts. EA does. Again, no difference. One of them gets you in there. One of them gets you in there. Which one's right? Depends which way the market goes, doesn't it? It's nothing to do with the indicator or the EA. It's where the market goes after the button has been pressed. So that's just stuck dropping at the moment with everything else. Euro US 125 ADR. So again, US dollar weakness should indicate we should get some strength. However, obviously a load of negative news on the euro isn't going to help it. So even if the US dollar is weak, the euro is weak today, you may not revert on that. So again, this one could be one of those that just sits around and doesn't go anywhere. If it doesn't, obviously just don't get in. Don't hold it. But yeah, nice reversal alert about to come up on that one here. There's loads and loads of room, look. So you've got loads of room until yesterday's low, which is potentially going to be the breakout point, which means that will be the first area they'll add shorts to. And obviously if it does a V-shaped recovery, you've got plenty of room all the way back up to there. So good looking long opportunity. Downside support. You've got 160 odd ADR. You've got that low from last week, which is the day after FOMC, all that crazy 400 ADR move up and down we had. Failing that, you've got a nice little resistance coming up, multiple resistances. So, you know, getting into a long here and holding it for a few days, you've got plenty of opportunities where price may find support down here. And the entire distance is 250 ADR. So that's from where we are at the moment. So it's obviously only 125 ADR down to there. So not a bad looking long opportunity on that Euro US. Haven't got any US exposure on at the moment. So I might take a buy on that. I'm just going to place a buy stop there on Euro US. So on the VPS, it will trail that buy stop above the 15-minute candle high. So if this continues to push down, it will just trail down for me, and then it will get me in when we do get some bull price action. So I'm going to go long Euro US. Euro New Zealand 125 ADR has just been hit, so that's still coming down. Just move that back to Euro Pound to remind me. Pounds. So the pound basically at the moment is stuck with regards to interest rates. So at the minute, Bailey will not reduce interest rates, even though we hit the target, and we have now maintained a level of 2.2. So we hit the 2% target. They said they reduced rates. They then said, nah, actually, we don't fancy it. It ticked up to 2.2. Then they dropped the rates by 0.25% and said, we'll watch what happens next time. If it doesn't move, we'll reduce rates. It didn't move. They haven't reduced rates. The Bank of England are absolutely focused for some reason on services inflation, and they will not drop the rates until that services inflation starts to diminish, regardless of the fact that food is still going up, energy still going up. They just will not drop those interest rates and give anybody a break. So really hard. The market at the moment has no faith in the pound long or short, as you can see. We're just flip-flopping around at the moment. So as far as I'm concerned, really, any entry on this should be workable on all pound pairs because there's no directional bias. There were more people voting to pause rates than there were to drop them this time round. So we were expecting to have a 0.18. We got a 0.27. Sorry, I was expecting a 0.27. We got a 0.18. So the third number is pause. So basically, it means they're just being super cautious. We know they've got to drop the rates. So the market is looking for opportunities from Bailey to give us some kind of downward movement. However, this was bullish. So it's just a case of really should just move up and down. And if it goes into a trend, it won't be a strong one. So I don't really think there's any problem trading in either direction at the moment. So waiting for ADR hits to the downside like you just had. So there's your ADR reversal today. No reversal alert gone in yet. But if you were taking that with a position trade at EA, that would have got you in on that candle there. So you'd have been entered there. Not the greatest entry in the world either. Euro CAD, it's an H1 hit. So yeah, looks good for potential long today, assuming that we get a push back up after this news. So lovely resistance support rather to the downside coming up on last week's low. And as you can see, last week it really didn't do much. So as long as it continues to sort of flip-flop around like this and we get the odd news event which gives it a decent move, it will mean revert it. So we're just waiting for a signal to set up on it. So you've got that one there today, which is an ADR reversal. I mean, you'd be looking to push up into there. Not a lot of distance, but enough. 4 hour, there was an entry last week on it. Sort of just about, I didn't get it there. So you would have either been out on the initial move or you'd have been in a second trade and out by the end of the week. And there was also an entry there, which if you didn't get out on that drop, you got out on that drop. And obviously there was an entry there. So, you know, it's just waiting basically for signals to arrive. I did get that one there, you see. That one's on the chart. But yeah, just waiting basically for signals to arrive on it. Pound CAD in short at the moment. So 3 positions on this one. We had no movement the previous week. So I took first entry, assuming range highs. Didn't happen. So pushed up, took some profit off as we had news hitting. So banked, I think it was 350, something like that. We pushed up, added the second position back on again, and it's pushed up again, obviously, towards the end of the week. So third has gone on. So looking basically for a pullback on that entire leg now, which is there. So this high here, which we kind of accumulated at and broke. So that propulsion gap retest is where I think the support will arrive, if they're going to do that. If they're not going to do that, obviously it will come back further. But so my target is before that low, assuming we're going to put a higher low in, if we do. But want to see what happens. So that's going in the right direction, obviously, because of the news at the moment. So maybe able to get out of that if we can get 150 ADR today. See, pound Swiss, nothing particularly exciting on that one. Big rally last week. Swiss franc weakness, as long as we had that yen weakness. So all that weakness on the Swiss and the yen happened at the same time. However, safe haven, Middle East, just be careful if you're doing anything but shorting. Difficult to tell where it's going at all. Pound New Zealand stuck sideways. Take longs and shorts if you get any signals. Not doing anything. Pound US dollar. So again, US dollar weakness should continue. This has been a bit difficult to trade over the last euro pound ADR. That's good. That means I'm guaranteed to get into another position. So a couple of weeks on each entry I've had on this one. I had a long there which I got out at break even, but it would have been a second entry exit if I'd have held it. So yeah, it's just a little bit kind of squeezy with news at the moment, the Euro US. But obviously, as you can see, trend is up because of US dollar weakness on interest rate drops. They dropped by 0.5% instead of 0.25%. So bias at the moment on this one is obviously ideally long, because Bailey is not reducing interest rates and they have dropped further than expected and are expecting a faster drop towards the end of the year than anticipated. So it is bullish. So looking for pullback longs ideally, but you can trade it in both directions, pound US dollar, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I'm trading it in both directions because it is a nice mean reversion. It's the second highest liquid pair we have on the planet. Therefore, it does move up and down, and there is a lot of manipulation and profit taking on this pair all the time. So as long as you've got market structure, there's always an exit. So I don't mind which way I trade that one at the minute. Just waiting for a signal. I haven't had one for a couple of weeks on it. So sitting around. Been a very quiet couple of weeks. New Zealand, we'll look at in a sec. Abdi, are you planing? Or did you already update the position EA? No, I haven't updated it yet. No. It's I've got this is version 1.63, which has got those amendments in it. No, this is 1.61. Sorry. Yeah, 1.63. Yeah, it's got those amendments in it. But I only built it on Thursday because I wanted to test what Dave was saying about the exit. But people, one of the reasons I'm doing all this testing at the moment, the Position Trader EA, is because I released the Position Trader EA for everybody that used the Market Reversal Alerts EA to give them simpler, faster testing and less functionality to less complication and the buttons, which I couldn't do to the Market Reversal Alerts EA because it was too complicated and bloated. But I realized when I released it, I didn't release any set files with it. So obviously now I've got a brand new wave of people coming through that are only getting the Position Trader EA that have no set files. And I just keep saying to them, just use the defaults. But obviously, if they haven't watched the Position Trading Bootcamp, they don't know much about drawdown control or aggressive drawdown control and stuff. They're just flip-flopping around a little bit. So I'm trying to put together a package of set files for different strategies. And as I was doing it, I was like, let's just test Dave's Friday exit. And it was initially going to be an end-of-day exit test that I was going to do, but it turned into a close after hours test rather than end of day. And as I was doing that test, I was like, that's bloody brilliant for ADR reversals. So I will release set files with it, but what I kind of want to do is have that functionality out there and then release set files with that functionality in it. So I want to do more testing on it. And obviously over the weekend, I've had stuff happen that means I may just completely scrap the licensing system on MQL5. Well, not scrap it, just I'll need to rebuild the EA in a slightly different way if I'm going to license it myself, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to do the work twice. So I don't want to release the update and then go, crap, I've got to recode that all now to do my own licensing system. And then double my workload. So I'm not releasing it immediately. The update, that is. But I will be pushing some set files out as well for it. Especially that one I tested, because it's brilliant. I love it. Such a nice exit strategy. It also takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. The worst trades I ever got into, and I don't trade ADR reversals myself anymore. I only trade H1M5 and H4M15 entries now. And I have done for quite a long time. Although I had the market reversal alerts EA doing the ADR reversals just to show people what it did. But the reason I don't trade that strategy personally is because it can get you into long moves very quickly. Like if we had an ADR hit there, it gets you in long there. There's no RSI signal there until the following day or maybe the day after. So the ADR reversal strategy from a position trading just gets you in that little bit too quick. But for entering and scalping intraday, it's brilliant. So adding that ability to go, I've like had an ADR hit and I'm a day in and it hasn't gone anywhere. Take that little $50 loss rather than trying to turn it into a position trade, or leave it as a position trade after it's taken 3 and let it give you the opportunity to get out. And if it doesn't quite get there, take a break even on it, but don't hold it like a normal swing trade, which is H4M5 and H1M5 and H4M15, because we're not, that isn't the strategy, is it? The strategy is get in and out fast. It's a scalping strategy, always has been. So but it'll be a good option, and it will also open up a lot of possibilities for people, maybe for H1 and M and H4 timeframes for closing out end of week as well. I haven't tested any of that yet, so it just opens up a lot more testing, which is great, which is what I want to do in the live room. I want to do the testing and then come in here and go, hey, guess what? I've been testing this. What do you think? Sort of thing. Franco, when I see the new batch of gurus, I hear a little English boy's voice. Boy? I'm not a boy, sir. You make me sound like Oliver Twist. Stranger danger. It's our elections here in the US making markets and US dollar crazy. Yeah, I know. November is not going to be fun. It's really erratic. Everything's erratic in November when you have elections. Especially if Trump doesn't get in any insights or riot. You just don't know what's going to happen, do you, really, with this one? It's not a normal election, is it? It's a very odd time we're in at the minute with US politics, and I get the feeling the markets might be a little weird. I don't know how, though. That's the thing. It's one of those things you can't really go back and look at the last time someone like Trump was running again after what's happened to him and all, you know, just stuff. You can't go back and look at what happened to the markets then. It's something you've just got to deal with. So it's slightly concerning that you might get some weird super ADR move on the US dollar. I've just got a trade taken on something. I just saw my Euro US. I just got the long triggered. So long Euro US, that's the M5 mean reversion. So this is an ADR reversal. Haven't quite got the reversal alert yet, but I'm getting in on the MA cross. Actually, that's a trailing buy that's got me in. So as it is just a scalp, I'm not going to go crazy. So just looking quick move. Maybe if they come and retest yesterday's low. And second entry. Perfect. Half an ADR. Look, that's half an ADR. Euro pound is still going down, so my entry is definitely going in on that one. So next entry going in on that one, that'll be an aggressive drawdown control position. Vitali, thank you very much for the $1.99. That's very precise. It's like you're purchasing something. Like, here's your change, sir. Thank you very much. 2 a.m. for you. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Vitali. 2 a.m. 2 a.m. and Franco's bringing pints with you at 2 a.m. in the morning. Hey, well, let's just call it the Market Structure Trader Club. Let's pretend we're all clubbing. That's not. New Zealand dollar CAD. Sideways, not doing anything, hasn't done for 2 days. So really not a lot we can do with this one at the minute. It is a reversal off of the highs. So potentially today, this is a really good level. If we don't break through these highs, so we had the 4-hour extension on Friday, well, last week, Thursday, Friday. We're obviously rejecting this level at the moment, which is great. So we know we've got an iceberg and limit orders sitting here. We've got backup resistance coming at 125 ADR as well. It just doesn't seem to be able to get down either, though, does it? So we're kind of hovering here and not doing a lot. Obviously, it's been having a lovely big bull run. Last entry I had was here a couple of weeks ago, and a bull buy there. So it's just really not doing much. So I'm kind of sitting here waiting for this to do something. It's just really wicky stuck. New Zealand Swiss, same as everything else. Rather be short than long. I've got Aussie Swiss on. So if you look at the Aussie Swiss and the New Zealand Swiss, they are very similar in price action. So New Zealand Swiss, I probably wouldn't take anything on it personally, but that is a really good double monthly high. So we pushed up, put in a monthly high. That is where the next month started, and we initially moved away from it. So this is the first retest at ADR today, actually, isn't it, as well? So there's good confluence for you. So that monthly level there is your ADR hit today. Although it's a very grindy move up, so not really any reason why we'd collapse off of that, is there? So we'll see. But yeah, I'd rather be short than long. Anything Swiss franc at the moment, I'd rather be long on the Swiss, which means you're short everything against it. So yeah, that's good. For shorts, nice confluence. The only problem you've got here is if that high breaks, you've got literally clear air until you come up into this propulsion gap here. There's nothing for 300 ADR. So this whole price action move here, I suppose you could look at it as that being a little accumulation there. So you may find we pushed, paused, and then pushed again. So 200 ADR, maybe. We'll see. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Excuse me. Sideways. Very little you can do with this at the minute. Same as the New Zealand dollar CAD, really. Just flip-flopping around. Just a mess. RSI's in the middle. It's not hitting ADRs. It's the fallout of FOMC and the market confusion from the following day, just not knowing what to do. So the market at the moment is just stuck with the US dollar going, really don't know what to do with it. So we're stuck on the CAD and the US at the minute, waiting for the market to decide whether it's bullish or bearish, and it isn't at the minute. So we're waiting for a break. And as soon as we get that move started, it's probably the continuing direction that we will go in. The reason I've drawn that arrow is because it's probably going to be weak US dollar, but you just don't know with these markets at the minute. So any kind of pullbacks obviously would be good to get into, but obviously mean reverting once it's done the rallies and they start the profit take moves as well. But just waiting for some signals to come on some movement. You know, the whole purpose of mean reversion trading is we cannot predict the future. That's why we do it. So we wait for them to make the move, and then we predict the move after the move they make. Yeah, the minute this will go there or it'll go there. There's no point in trying to predict it. You don't know. So you can hit the buy button or the sell button now and deal with it later, or you can wait for the move to happen and then deal with the profit take move afterwards. So right now we're stuck flat. Can't do anything with it. US CAD, very much the same. These two obviously moved together, both moved by oil, both moved by close trade partnership. The only time they move out of sync is when there is one fundamental bias which is bigger than the other. News events really that spark some kind of buying frenzy in the currency. There's no reason for them to try and get themselves better or worse than the other. So again, this is probably going to be the most sideways thing on the planet, apart from the euro pound. But really, you know, same as the pound US dollar at the moment. Yeah, the trade's taking a while on this because there is just so much changing in perspective on the US. The Fed keep changing their mind. Traders keep changing their mind. Everybody keeps changing their mind on what direction the Fed is going to go in and when. So we've had all these really big, long moves, which have been difficult. But hopefully, now we know that that is the directional bias, we shouldn't get any big moves. So it's just a case of waiting for some kind of movement and then mean revert it. But I don't know. All the trend traders on this will be looking for short opportunities. But difficult. Shorting the US dollar is probably the right thing to do. It's just timing. Stuck on the US dollar Swiss again. Yeah, would love to do that. A lot of upside though. I mean, there's a lot of potential upward movement. We have put a higher high in and a higher low. So it is kind of grinding up. So any extensions to the upside would be good for shorts, ideally. But again, it's just not moving. Can't get in. Stuff is just not giving opportunities at the moment. We're really contracted, but contraction usually comes before expansion, so we should get a move. Hailey, as you mentioned about not trading ADR only, what about ADR 125? It's the same thing. ADR is ADR in it. Doesn't matter which level you pick. Just the thing with an RSI is RSI is a sustained movement. Yeah. So when you go from here to here, there is sustained buying for a long period of time. So this is a 4-hour chart. That took a week to do that. ADR can hit on a news event in an hour, in 10 minutes, in 15 minutes. Yeah. So ADR is telling you this has moved beyond its average daily range. There's a reason for that. There was bullish news on the US dollar Swiss, therefore we had a bull move up. I'm just drawing on the chart and making news up, but you see what I mean. That moved because there was positive news. So your goal is wait for the retracement on the news, and they may well continue to do it. So you're mean reverting intraday. If it doesn't come down, so if you take an ADR reversal here and RSI is down here, for example, you can easily get an ADR hit to the upside while RSI is below 50. Yeah. So if you're getting short here and it continues to push, and you're getting short again and it continues to push, by the time I'm taking my first trade on the 4-hour time frame with an RSI extension, you've got 2 and you're just about to get into your third ADR. Yeah. That's why I always say, and I have said all along, pick a strategy. Either H1M5, H4M15, mean reversion, which is swing trading, or scalping ADR reversals. But you can turn ADR reversals into a position trade, but just be aware that you may be in really early on the leg. So the profit take move that comes, you may have got in there, whereas we would maybe have got in here. So we'll take 2 trades, you'll be in 3 or 4. Now, it doesn't matter whether you take an ADR 100 or a 125. The difference between hitting ADR 100 and 125, if the market's pushing up, is maybe RSI hitting there or there. Minuscule on an RSI, but on an ADR, it's 25% of its movement. So I would always prefer to get in at 125 over 100 because the probabilities, you can see, drop dramatically. So when you get 100 ADRs, 42% probability, 125 is 23. So you got a 77% probability it won't go beyond that level. But here, the probability is only 58%. So the edge is a lot bigger. Or not 50% bigger, but it's getting close to being a big, big difference, isn't it? So I'd much rather use that as a first entry than I would that. But like you said, using RSI 70-30 works brilliantly a lot of the time. But when it doesn't, you're in really early, which is why I'd rather use 80-20. 70-30 is my bread and butter strategy that I traded for years. Up until a year or so after COVID, we started getting squeezed hard when the interest rate changes happened. I don't think that will come back. So I think if you went back to 70-30 now, you'd be okay. But if you do back testing using 70-30 and then you switch that to an 80-20, you'll see the difference in drawdown is dramatic. Still profitable, but your drawdown will be more painful. And it's a balancing act. Like I said, nobody ever knows whether you should be using 70-30 or 80-20 until after the trade has been entered. There is no indicator on the planet that can tell you which level you should be using or which alert it supplies that you should be using, because it doesn't know what's coming next. It's merely signaling something has happened. Yeah. So there's people using RSI extensions on 15-minute charts, and they're entering on 1-minute reversal alerts and using the position trader EA on 1-minute timeframes. As I said, you've got to be on something with a tight spread to do this. Someone like TD365 will give you very, very tight spreads. And I believe now they offer MT4 fixed spreads as well, which is, I'm going to look into that. It was only on their cloud platform, but using M15 is fine in markets like this. Yes, please. Pretty much every single opportunity gives you profit. Yeah. But that is because the market is ranging. When this thing takes off and you've got into your first trade there, you are in at the very, very start of a squeeze, rather than waiting for it to squeeze for a few days and then trying to get in. Yeah, by the time it's squeezed a few days, you have taken 2 to 3% drawdown, maybe 1-2%. I don't know. Depends on your risk, doesn't it? How much drawdown you're in. But this is the problem with using ADR as a position trading entry. There's nothing wrong with position trading ADR either, as my set file has shown. Yeah, this is using ADR to position trade. Oops. And it's great. Yeah. So let me just make sure that is the right set file. That one. Yeah, so this is using maximum of 3 trades. And that was using the timed exit. Yeah. So yeah, it works beautifully, but if you were to not have a maximum of 3 trades and close after 24 hours, you can be in a squeeze at day 1 of the squeeze. And if a squeeze is going to last for 3 weeks, 3 weeks of pain. So, but, and again, it all comes down to the type of trader you are. If this is you're taking very, very small risk, and it's a long-term pay myself an extra 20 grand a year type account, and that's your trading is, I want to earn an extra 20 grand a year on top of my salary in an automated fashion, nothing really too much wrong with it. But if you want to be in and out of lots of opportunities trying to generate a daily income, which is very hard to do, scalping strategies are the only way really to do it. It's not good to hold for too long. So if you're wrong, it's what they always say, isn't it? Limit your downside and let your winners run. So close your loss early, let your winners run, which is great if you're using stop loss based strategies. From a position trading perspective, though, it's not relevant. Our whole purpose is that we're using our risk to trade a position. We don't need to be right. We need to be in the market. That's what we do. We make money by being in the market. We don't make money by being right. We wait for the market to prove us right and the market to become right. We don't have control over that. Scalpers always need to get their entries as spot on as they possibly can, which is very, very hard. Even for professional traders, people burn out regularly. Prop firms, professional prop firms, if your P&L's dropping because you're exhausted, someone's sitting there waiting to take your place. It's very hard work trying to generate alpha on a daily basis. But as we all know, that's what we try to do, isn't it? I would like to use the optimizer in the strategy test at MT5 to backtest individual time sessions, but it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't use MT5, I'm afraid. I only use MT4. But the position trader EA the position trader EA has time settings, the auto trading time, so it'll only take trades during those times. But other than that, I don't know much about. I don't use MT5. I test my products in it. That's it. I don't use the backtest. I don't like it. It's just what you're used to. I'm just used to that. That's what I use. Franco, once I put a short on 0.01, lost 135 pips. Put another short on 0.01 2 weeks later in profit. Yeah. Took a long time for me to understand position trading. Yeah. Market structure time travels. But that's the whole purpose, isn't it? This is why I do what I do in the way that I do it. Because I do not know the future. No one does. And that's the whole premise of the methodology of position trading. And this is why the banks and institutions do it that way. Because they have a certain amount of control, but they do not have total control over market direction and timing. So it doesn't make sense to enter into a position and then somebody else to push against you and you just to roll over and take a load of money out of your P&L. You're going to push back. You need to wait for your opportunity to push back. They can do that. We can't. So when they get pushed and they get pushed and they get pushed, they wait for whoever's pushing to run out of money and then they push back because they can. So we wait for them to be pushed and we get on their pushback. Profit take. I've shorted a load. We've got a massive profit. Let's take some of it off. That's our job here. We're getting in with them when they're making all of their money. We need to identify where they're going and we need to identify roughly when they're going to do it. But there is no indicator that tells you when they're going to do it. So we adjust our price. That's it. But as I say, it's one strategy. Yeah, it's the way that I trade. There's a lot of other people trading a lot of different ways. That's why I'd like people to come to me with strategies, because I reckon if someone comes to me with a half decent strategy, I could immediately remove the stop losses and put some other exit strategy and scale strategy into it to make it a profitable strategy long term. It's never going to set the world on fire, but we don't want to set the world on fire. We want a bank of profitable strategies to trade with, a portfolio that makes money. Not quite got an exit there on the euro pound. This candle, if it's bullish, will be my entry on euro pound with an aggressive DD control position. So that'll bring my average down very quick on euro pound. Euro US dollar, that first entry today in profit. Halfway to target. Right, I'll leave it there. So this week is going to be different. I'm going to put a post out on Discord, Telegram about what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to have a think this morning about how I want to play it this week. I really want to dedicate this week to doing a lot of work on getting the infrastructure in place that I want. So if I spend like 2.5 hours like I have this morning streaming, it's 2.5 hours of my day that I'm not going to be able to do. That's like 12.5 hours a week I can put into doing some work on that side of things. So what I might do this week is stream in the mornings and just do the 8 o'clock sessions every day this week, but I'm going to limit myself to an hour. So we'll look at the news, we'll look at any trades that are on, maybe have a quick whiz through charts, but keep it succinct and short so that I can do other things by 9 o'clock, trade the DAX, and just, like we did this morning, don't need to trade it. It trades itself with the EA. So we'll see what the trade was like this morning, and do that. And that's kind of the format I'd like to use moving forward, and then spend some real time doing some real good stuff that will hopefully help everybody crowdsourcing. That's what we want to do, innit? We want to crowdsource, not just me waffling. Would be good. But anyway, I will waffle as well because everybody likes my waffles. I hate waffles. So I will be back tomorrow, probably. I'll put a post out. So keep an eye on the Telegram and the Discord channels. And obviously on the website as well. I'll update the live room page to say what I'm doing as well. So just have a check back there. Yeah, and then I'll first thing I want to do is get my new licensing system up and running so that I can remove as much as I can MQL5 from the equation and start to build a group basically of people I can spend a lot more time with. So, but I need to figure out the mechanics. Any ideas, obviously welcome as well. So if you want to message me on Telegram with what you would like, how you would like it to work, type thing. I'm always open to ideas. I don't know. Everybody else just seems to charge a monthly fee, but they don't. I don't know what it is they do. So I know what I do and what I need to do from my end, but it's what you get out of it. So I'd much rather have open sessions where we actually do more stuff, really, and develop strategies. That's what I'd like to do. Spend more time developing strategies. But 50 heads is better than one. I'm just one head. But if I got 50 heads giving me ideas, this head knows what to do with those 50 ideas, whether to go, yeah, it's a load of rubbish, chuck it away, or not thought about that before. Let's apply this to that and just mold something else. There's more than one ways to crack an egg, i.e. extract money from the market. We just, good to find a load of ways of putting it together. So I will leave you there. Anything you need, let me know, Telegram or Discord. Other than that, I will be back in the next stream tomorrow at some point. So I'll keep your eyes peeled on those and I will see you next time. Thanks for all the tips today, by the way, everybody. That was much appreciated. And I will see you next time. Have a good one.